Guitar friends, how are you all doing? So good to see you again. Thanks for dropping by. So I've been doing this channel for about a year now, and I've been doing reviews and my crazy videos and having a lot of fun. But I've realised that I haven't actually done a video about myself and talked to you about me much. So firstly, hello, I am Paul Besselle, formerly known as PMunkey. Some people call me Munkers, others call me Monks, some call me Munkerton Hawk. You call me whatever you want. Just keep it nice though. There is no better way to get to know someone than by looking at their record collection. So today we're going to go through my record collection. I'm going to show you them all. We're going to have a chat about them. May even play you some. Copyright. But we're going to have a good time. So let's start. So first up we have The Band by The Band. Now The Band are one of my favourite all-time bands. This is just an incredible record. I believe it's their second record they made. Look at that gatefold with studio pictures. They're just an incredible bunch of musicians and songwriters. And they had a great career, and each album is incredible. Highlights for me off this. Oh man. It's just one of those albums where it could be a greatest hits album because every song is amazing. Across the Great Divide, Rag Mama Rag, of course, The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down. I mean, come on, you can't get much more classic than that. So The Band, any album by The Band, especially on vinyl, incredible. Okay, so next up we're going to Rolling Stones territory. This is a best of that I've had for years. No idea where I got it. It's got some good tracks on there. So these two are Rolling Stones, some of their first records. These are early printings and originals, and these are on mono. Actually mono recordings. These are actually my dad's, and he very kindly lent them to me or I took them at some point. Who knows, but I own these and they are incredible. I mean, the smell of old vinyl is just history. It's got loads of cool blues songs on this. Basically when they started off they were a kind of blues band before they progressed. So great stuff by the Stones there. Walking the Dog, loads of cool blues stuff. Route 66. Alright, so Stones, of course. No respectable record collection can be without Led Zeppelin. Here, Led Zeppelin 2. Got this in a record shop a number of years ago. Beautiful gatefold. No artwork on the back, but a beautiful shade of brown and a great album. Everyone knows. Do you guys know the Punch Brothers? I saw these guys live a couple of years ago, and oh my sweet lord, are they incredible. If you don't know them, and if you like kind of bluegrassy country music but progressed a million miles from that, then check these guys out. They are amazing. I believe this is their third album. It's got the song Rye Whiskey on there, which you haven't heard that song, Spotify it now. Rye Whiskey. It's a barn burner. It's just great. My partner Tracy got me this a couple of Christmases ago, or maybe it was a birthday. I've still got the birthday card in there. That's what's so great about vinyl. I mean, they're part of your life, and when you look at them, you know, you remember the time you got them. So that's beautiful. It's great. I've still got the birthday card. Alright, we've got some Hank Williams, old school, live at the Grand Ole Opry. Good stuff. Okay, so let's talk about this. I am a massive Neil Young fan. He's such an inspiration to me. My songwriting, he's a very inspiring chap, and he has an amazing body of work. His work ethic is like no other musician. So I'm a big Neil Young fan. So what Neil Young do we have? We've got Trans. Now this is an 80s album he did, and he started experimenting with vocoders, and this is just next level. This still sounds great today. I mean, there's an 80s throwback kind of going on at the moment, and if you put one of these songs on the radio today, it wouldn't sound out of place. So Neil Young Trans, Rust Never Sleeps. Now this is kind of a live album, but not. I think it was bits of it were recorded live and they removed the crowd. It's an electric album. Check it out. We've got American Stars and Bars, one of his more country albums, and of course this album first got me into Neil Young, because way back when I was into Pearl Jam, and I heard that they'd done this album with Neil Young, and I'm like, Neil who? So I went and got the album, of course became addicted and went and got all his other albums. So this is Mirrorball. This is the one he did with Pearl Jam. Some good songs on here, a really nice raw feeling to the record. Now, a couple of Christmases ago, I was extremely lucky to get this Neil Young box set. It's just an amazing work of art. It's got 4 records in, but I think I've put some of my others in there. So in here we have the second solo album he did, Neil Young Crazy Horse. Everybody knows this is Nowhere. We have After the Gold Rush. We have the classic Harvest. We have Time Fades Away on vinyl. I mean, just, yeah. We have On the Beach. Look at that album cover. It's got a buried car on it. They didn't bury a whole car, they just put that bit in the sand. Nice. Zoomer. Now this album, if you look up worst album art of all time, sooner or later you'll come to this album. I kind of dig it. It's a bird carrying a naked woman across a desert. What's not to like? It's cool. And the what is that? Sticker from the album. And Tonight's the Night, the seminal drug album of the 70s that they did after Neil Young experienced a couple of friends of his die, and he got blitzed in the studio, stayed up all night, and made this crazy album. So check it out if you like rock and roll. Of course, we have to have some Lennon. Great artwork on the back. I mean, look at that. That's beautiful. Lennon. All right. Now, this guy. This is my friend Harry Mundy. We go way back. We're good friends. We've done music together. We've been in bands together. He played guitar in my band Slip Down Dog for a while. And this is his album he did called Back to the Country. And I saw a live show he did up in London and bought this vinyl at the time. And yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. If you don't know Harry Mundy, check him out. The songs on this are just incredible. My favourite, Love of My Life, check that out. Great song. Alright, you guys heard of the Black Crowes. Now if you live in Britain, you probably haven't heard of the Black Crowes, or you may have heard them and not really heard any of their music. I've been a massive Black Crowes fan since the year go. I've got their first album on vinyl, and I got it when it came out way back in the day, and I still love it today. It's incredible. This is a single, possibly coloured vinyl, see-through vinyl. Okay, let's start getting through them now. More Black Crowes, one of their first singles. Now this is the Black Crowes album I was talking about, their first album. I got this way back when it came out. I'm not going to tell you the year, you can look it up. But I've had this album for years, and just great times. Great times. Okay, we're going in to Crosby, Stills and Nash. I said I was a big Neil Young fan. That means I have to kind of be a Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young fan. Whoa, nice. 60s, 70s. Good times. Good times. And of course, Deja Vu, you have to have Deja Vu. This is their seminal album they did with Neil Young. Check it out if you haven't heard it. Of course, Gatefold, awesome pictures. Do I need to talk about this album? I mean, just look at that artwork. I mean, if you hadn't seen that for the first time, you go into a record store and you see that, you'd be like, I bow down to you. Incredible album, just amazing. Sweet Leaf, come on, come on. All right, some Peter, Paul and Mary. They were a folk group in the 60s, pre-Dylan, or around about the same kind of time as Dylan. They kind of paved the way for that kind of folk movement. And they did a song called 500 Miles, which is why I have this, because I wanted to learn that song. Whoa, left field, classical punch, Stravinsky, the Firebird Suite. Just, if you haven't heard it and you like Steven Spielberg kind of films with, or George Lucas kind of films, then check out this, because they're very similar kind of soundtracks. Obviously John Williams, who did all the scores for those, he's a massive Stravinsky fan. So even Steve Vai, I think, is a massive Stravinsky fan. So check out the Firebird. I think even Steve Vai was going to do a version of this. His own rendition hasn't surfaced as yet, as far as I know. More Black Sabbath, greatest hits. This is an insane album cover. It's kind of like there's some kind of, well, there's a lot of skeletons and death and black and evil, shall we say. Rock and roll. All right. We have Bob Dylan, Blood on the Tracks. Great album. 74. Really good stuff. Getting on in his career, but still such a great album. Of course, Blonde on Blonde. Now, this is the Dylan album. If you don't know Dylan, if you haven't got into him yet, you get this album. I mean, it's awesome. Look at that. Great photos. And it's kind of like a big fold out. That's what they did in the 60s. Okay, more Dylan. Street Legal. Now, for a long while, I lived very close to a charity shop, and it was a real big charity shop. Had loads of DVDs, videos. It was a gold mine, and they also had loads of vinyl. So I would be in there searching through those bins, and that's where I got some of these Dylan ones. I got that one there. I bought this in a record shop new, Nashville Skyline, one of his best country albums. Check it out. I got that in the charity shop. Of course, Dylan's greatest hits. You can see this is worn. Someone loved this. And it's got that smell, that old vinyl smell. Of course, more Dylan. Slow Train Coming. Now, I think this is the one, I might be wrong, which has got Mark Knopfler playing guitar on a couple of tracks. Come on. I mean, look at that. That is awesome. So, Led Zeppelin 4, or, well, some people call it Led Zeppelin 4, some people don't. Okay, Lou Reed, Transformer, some great tracks on here. I'm sure Bowie had mixed it or had something to do with it. Still a great album. More Lennon with Yoko. Okay, so we have some Joni Mitchell. Another awesome charity shop find. Now, I was talking about John Williams a minute ago. Now, his scores are ingrained in me from childhood, and Close Encounters is just one of the biggest ones. It's just incredible. So it's really freaky as well, soundtrack. So check that one out if you haven't heard it. I've got a couple of copies of this album. One of them used to be my sister's that I stole way back in the day because I loved what track? The old Landmark, the James Brown, the gospel one. I just loved gospel stuff when I was a kid, and that track just blew my mind. The bass playing on it. If you haven't heard Old Landmark, Blues Brothers soundtrack, listen to that track, listen to the bass line, your mind will explode. Of course, it's got Think by Aretha. Great track. Different version as well to the one she later released. Okay, what's this strange one? It's got nothing on. So this is the Beatles, the White Album. Very proud to own this. That's how it came out, just with nothing on. It has got like an embossed The Beatles, but you have to really look at it to see it. If you haven't heard this album, I mean, it's a real crazy one they did later in their career, but it's got some amazing rocking songs on there and some really nice other songs. Of course, it's got Blackbird on there. It's got Helter Skelter, of course. Some awesome stuff and some crazy stuff that goes number 9, number 9, number 9 for like 3 minutes. Good times. Now, Ringo Starr. This is one of his solo albums, which has got loads of people playing on it, including the band who I talked about earlier. It's got a massive book that comes with it. Got this in the charity shop, £3. Boom. Now we're on to the good stuff. Original pressing of Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band. This was my father's, and yes, I believe it does still have the cutouts that came with it undamaged. So that's some history there. Good stuff. I rarely play this because I just want to preserve it, and it's on Spotify. But I'm, yes, very proud part of my collection, which is my dad's, and I'll still say I'm looking after it for him. Okay, this is another cool Robert Johnson. Good stuff on there. The Blues Volume 3. Incredible album. My dad gave me this back in the day. Let me just show you this for a minute. This will blow your mind. Check this out. Yeah. Crank it up. All right. Down straight. Blues. Volume 3. In mono. Okay, we're going to go through them now. We've got Iron and Wine, Shepherd's Dog. Great album. Check that one out. Of course, Queen Volume 2. Now, even though Queen are one of the biggest bands in the world, I still believe they're one of the most underrated bands in history. They are next level. Just go and watch any live footage of them, and they're just mind-blowing. Awesome. Love Queen. We have Stevie Wonder. Of course, you've got to have Stevie. Love Stevie. Cream. Wheels on Fire. Look at that artwork. That is amazing. Again, if you were a kid and you walked into a record store back in the day, you were flipping through and you saw that, and you were like, wow, I am buying that. Amazing. Love album artwork. Carole King, Tapestry, really great album, some really beautiful songs on there. Some Garfunks, gotta have some Sound of Silence. Okay, I've got some tour books here. That's another great thing about vinyl. You can just put stuff in between them, and then when you go through them, you find them. That's from a Counting Crows gig I saw back in the day. It's from a Tori Amos gig. Oh, wow. Pearl Jam comic featuring Soundgarden. Soundgarden comic of how they got started. Awesome. Same, Rolling Stones and Aerosmith comic. Check that out. Just Aerosmith comic. It's even got Run DMC in. Look. Slash in the comic. Awesome. Alright, we have David Bowie, of course, Ziggy Stardust, Spiders from Mars. You gotta have this in the record collection. Bowie, Hunky Dory. Love the back of that one. That's an amazing one. Okay. Simon and Garfunkel. Simon looked like my dad did back in the 70s. Good stuff. Okay, now this album. This is a massive album in my musical history. So my dad used to have this on tape, and this just never left his car stereo, and whenever we'd go anywhere this would be playing, and it's got songs like Blueberry Hill on it, it's got Elvis songs, it's got Buddy Holly songs on it. So as a little kid I was just sucking this stuff up and absorbing it into my being, so I had to get it on vinyl, and it's just a great record. Now I think I bought this more for the comedy factor. The Many Faces of the Blues. The Who, Who's Next? The Who standing on a beach by a monolith. That's pretty damn cool album cover. Now we have the Hendrix. The Hendrix Studio Haze. This is not a like one of his studio albums that he did, but more like a jam they had in the studio. I don't really know much about this album. I got it as a Christmas present many years ago from a old girlfriend, and yeah, it's cool. It's a cool album. T-Rex. My mum was a massive T-Rex fan, so I've got some of her T-Rex vinyl. Pearl Jam, Even Flow, coloured vinyl. Is it? No. Is it coloured? Let's have a look. Yes, it is coloured. White vinyl, Pearl Jam, Even Flow, limited edition. Pearl Jam, 3-track, Alive. Is it coloured? Well, it's black. It's good enough. Okay, and we have Pearl Jam Yield. We have Queen, more Queen. Sheer Heart Attack. Just look at the back of that record. Looks like they're greased up. The Lost Boys soundtrack, great 80s tunes, great 80s film. Check it out. Okay, we have more Black Crowes vinyl. We have a Hulk comic. We have more The Who. Tommy. Gotta have Tommy. Stevie Wonder. Look at that artwork again. It's got a flaming piano on the back, hotter than July. The Police. My friend Harry, we saw his album earlier. He bought me this. Great Police album. I wasn't really into them before I heard this, and I was like, whoa, they've got some chops. We have more T-Rex. More Led Zeppelin. I think that's In Through the Outdoor, one of the later albums. Check that out. Now, Queen. This is, again, one of the most seminal albums in my childhood. My dad had this, and again, it just never left our stereo in our house. And it's just incredible. I'm not sure if this is the original one or if I purchased it, but yeah. It's one of the best greatest hits album ever. So we have Pearl Jam, No Code, that unfolds to an awesome 4-page spread with studio shots. I love albums with studio shots. I love seeing musicians at work, so to speak. Now, how do I close this up? Something not like that. We'll sort that out in a minute. More T-Rex. Yes. Back when fonts were awesome. Okay, we have more T-Rex. We have Pearl Jam. Now, this is very special. This is their first album, 10, on coloured vinyl, shaped like a basketball. Very cool indeed. We're getting through to the final few now. Pearl Jam Vitalogy. Great album. T-Rex, Bowl and Boogie. Very cool album. That was my mother's cherished record. And the last one, Kung Fu Meets the Dragon, Lee Perry. Another classic charity shop find. I mean, how can you not buy it with that artwork on? It's got a massive snake, and they're turning into ninjas. Awesome. So that is my record collection. Obviously I've got a load more CDs I can show you another time, but that is just in my vinyl collections. So thank you for joining me on that vinyl adventure. And if you like this, we'll do more of them. We'll talk about movies, we'll talk about other music. I'm a massive format junkie. I just love formats of all kinds, so good times ahead. Guys, thank you so much for watching my videos this year and sticking with my channel. Hello to all you new subscribers out there. We've got a lot more cool stuff coming up this year and into the next year. I've got a rockumentary coming up, which I'm working on, and loads more exciting stuff. So, guitar friends, thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Monk us out. Hey, hey.